What's up? It's Marco, Sage of Soccer, and England are through to the next round. Big win against Senegal, and really a deserved win. They looked like the better team, and this is a very strong England team that could give France a very big challenge. These are two very good teams entering this game. England are looking really good. Their attack's been lethal outside the game against my US side, and France, they just look unbeatable with Mbappe at the moment. We'll have to see that game. But for this one, England had a very good win against Senegal. Senegal, they really didn't look like they were in the game much. They had one pretty good spell in like the middle of the first half where they were forcing England's back line into making some mistakes and getting some chances. Pickford had to make a couple of good saves, but that was kind of against the run of play, and I think England had the deserved lead at halftime, and they really didn't have any challenge in the second half. I think England were the deserved winners. For Senegal, you have to feel for them missing Sadio Mane. He might have been able to be the difference maker. He might have been the best attacker on the field, but with how well Foden, Kane, and Saka were playing, I'm not sure if I can say that, but he would have really challenged that England back line. But overall, really wasn't that great of a performance by Senegal. You have to wonder if Ecuador might have been able to give a big challenge. But I think that was still a good run for them, especially missing Sadio Mane. Getting out of the group stage is a big deal, but that's still just a what if. I think that they could have given England a lot bigger of a challenge. But there we go, on to England. Really good game by them. I think really strong performance all around. The first goal was probably coming for a while. Harry Kane sprung Jude Bellingham free, who found Jordan Henderson for the opener. I would not have put money on Jordan Henderson scoring the first goal, but he's actually been playing pretty well. He's been doing some solid defensive work and, weirdly enough, looking pretty good going forward. Then floodgates opened after that. England were making chance after chance, and Harry Kane was able to put one away for England to get them the breathing room needed to really kill off the game before halftime. Then Foden found Saka for the next one, and yeah, just a dominant performance. They were able to get their starters off at whenever they wanted to. A lot of players were given rest, and just a good performance there. I think in goal, Pickford made a couple of really good saves. He's their best keeper since David Seaman. He might even start rivaling him soon. And I'm someone who's a big David James fan, but I think Pickford has definitely passed him, past Joe Hart. He's definitely their best keeper since the very least 1998 David Seaman. And then we go to the back four. Stones and Maguire, I'm still not too sold on them. Maguire has a couple of loose passes that might be punished by a better team. John Stones, I think when he's surrounded by really good players, his deficiencies really start to go away, but in a game like this where he's got Maguire alongside him, you can really see the lack of speed, a little bit of indecisiveness, and I'm a bit worried about them, especially given Mbappe and honestly even a Giroud being able to find a weakness in their team. Then we have, I think Luke Shaw is another guy who's kind of weak on that back line. He gets forward somewhat well, but he doesn't have the speed needed to deal with a Dembele, or if Mbappe starts to switch sides. And I really don't think he offers much attacking-wise. He was in pretty good form towards the end of 2021, or the 2020-2021 season. But since then, I think he's just been kind of middling and not really good enough. Kyle Walker, he's still getting some rust off of him, but I think he's going to have a really big game. He might be able to compete with Mbappe physically. Not that well. He is getting a bit older, but he's probably England's best chance. And honestly, I might even consider maybe you do a back three with Walker as a right-sided center back to try to get a more defensive solidity there, but it's a bit tough to say. I think that Kyle Walker's going to have a huge game. Then going into the midfield and further forward, things are looking really good for England. Declan Rice continues to be solid defensively, looking good in build-up as well. He's just such a talented player, a really good guy for this England team to have, and man, really good. If he pushes for a move, he can go to any club in England at the moment. He's just that good. Then, as I mentioned before, Henderson, really solid game. Provides the energy that we know he has, and he's been looking a bit better technically. Even when I watch him every week for Liverpool, he doesn't look particularly. He kind of looks like he holds that team back, in my opinion. But he's been looking a lot better technically in this England team. And Jude Bellingham, really just a great player. Like, probably going to be talking about him for at least the next 10 years. Like, offers like so much going forward, a lot of really good passes, good in build up, like physical play as well. Like, such a talented guy on the field. Like, any team would want to have Jude Bellingham. Great player there. Saka's looking really good. Got himself a goal. Such a threat. Then Phil Foden, I'm glad he got that start. Even on that left-hand side where he doesn't get to cut in, his creativity was really shining through. And Harry Kane's on fire. Really good pass out of the first goal. Got himself the second one. He's going to have to be good against France if they want to have a chance. Just a really good performance by this England team. Subs didn't really have to do much. I don't think anybody really pushed themselves. But having Grealish as an option, Marcus Rashford off the bench, oh, man, and Mason Mount even, he can provide a good amount of energy, especially if England managed to go up. Like, being able to bring him on is probably going to be big for their defensive work, like some pressing as well. Like, it's just a really good-looking team, and it's going to be fun to watch them against France. For that game against France, I think their best chance is probably to try to get a counter. I think that that French team, they haven't been great building out of the back, and I feel like they can make some mistakes. Maybe they'll be able to pounce off of them. Their midfield isn't that great. Shikemi, Rabiot, definitely not the same level of technical ability that a Pogba would bring, so maybe you can get the better of them there. In that midfield with like a Rice, you probably have to put a Foden in the midfield, Bellingham. You want to keep Jordan Henderson on the field though, so it's tough to say there. But it's going to be a really fun match. I think France are leaning towards being the favorites right now. It's hard to see Mbappe not scoring or at least making a huge impact on that game. And I think Dembele is going to be a huge threat as well. But England, they definitely have a chance. Harry Kane's was really good today. His creativity's been shining through a lot, and we know his finishing in front of goal. And it's going to be really fun to watch. And yeah, that's all I've talked about. Covering every single game, so subscribe if you want to keep finding them. And yeah, that's all I'll talk about. See ya.